What's up? Good morning. Or evening, night. Good something. Yeah. We had a lot of fun. There he is. It is me, yes. It's I. The tofu. We had a lot of fun last night in the Ko-Fi server. It was fun. It was interesting. Thank you for that, Batman. We finally got Sonoma into Monster Hunter. The first day that they were able to play. They're doing Insect Glaive, which is so cool. It's one weapon I really want to learn how to play. But like the bug mechanic kind of breaks it for me. But that's the mantle that they've picked up. That's the option that they're going with, and I'm excited for them. I hope it's a weapon that they really love. But Ession and Sonoma and I just like played Monster Hunter for several hours yesterday. It was really cool. But I had been like having a music itch lately where I really wanted to write some music. So I didn't, but I ended up like shifting over to that. It was just kind of like started with trying to find like playing over drum tracks and stuff and trying to come up with something cool, and nothing would work. So I ended up just like shifting over to jam tracks and taking requests and just playing over different stuff. Yeah, it was really cool. It was a really cool time, man. Had a lot of fun. And we're having our first event, our first hangout group planned event this weekend. And we're apparently all equally indecisive, which, yeah, it's interesting. It's cool. But I guess I need to make a decision. I think we're going to either like watch old anime or play Monster Hunter. I don't know. I'll decide you and me. But thank you. Let me see. There we go. Yeah, haha. I appreciate you beyond me. And what's up, Isla? Isla was streaming this morning. She did the extra content from the game she was playing. And yeah, I got up bright and early to see that and promptly went to bed. Near the end, I think. It seemed like it was near the end. But yeah, she did a good job. She's playing like some vampire puzzle game, and the puzzles on that one were so much worse than the one that she was beating before. I was proud for the skull thing, the skull swapping one. That one seemed incredibly annoying. All of them seemed incredibly annoying, but you did great. You did good, little tiny Isla. Proud of you. Proud of you. Anyway, I think I'm going to read a little bit. We're probably not going to have a super long stream today. I'm still feeling sleepy. And I also got games I want to play. I've been playing, or I played it for one day, Blue Protocol, which is, if you've followed that at all, you know how bad it was. So bad that it got canceled, but got picked up by some sort of Chinese company, and they I think from what I gathered, they were working on like an unofficial mobile version of Blue Protocol, because Blue Protocol wasn't intended to be mobile. But after it failed, they ended up buying the rights and shifted focus and kind of like smashing Star Resonance and Blue Protocol together. And I think it's their first gacha type game. There's no like banners for characters because it's an MMO and you make your own character. But there are like all the gacha pools and so many currencies. It's a foreign world to me. I don't like it. I hate it so much. The combat system doesn't seem great. It seems like it could have been cool, but it's missed the mark so far. I'm like level 26 or 27 and I haven't gotten to any dungeons. It's just skipping the cutscenes and every 15 minutes getting a notification to check the gacha and see what random things it decides to give me for some reason. I feel like it could be a good experience if you're playing with friends. So if you're in the server and you do also are a fan of MMOs and it's something you want to try, if you like anime stuff, maybe that's the game that we can play together there as well. I don't know how long I'm going to stick with it, but I'm giving it like a good honest try. Also heard it's not that good, but people are very into it still. Like the kind of vibes that I'm getting from it is like, I don't know how to say it, but Magonomi, I don't remember. It was some old like anime inspired MMO that wasn't great. I think the focus of this too is like on a social and casual experience. So I think that's like the appeal of it. If you're gonna be social, if you wanted a social MMO, it seems cool. I can't really speak too much on the combat, like dungeon side of stuff yet. From what I've seen on videos and like the tiny little bit that I've gotten to experience, it has like the Final Fantasy 14 projected circles and stuff. I've heard like it's really a mix between like Genshin and Lost Ark, is what I remember one comment saying. So maybe I heard sounds like it's like a wide opinion, but it seems like a dumbed down version of Lost Ark mixed with, yeah. It seems interesting. I feel like there's something there, and I feel like if the devs handle it right, and I don't think they will, since it's like, again, originally like kind of I think it was made to be like mobile slop, just to piggyback off of the success of what they thought was going to be the success of Blue Protocol. It was like intended to be Chinese only at first. So, yeah. I hate that there's an auto battler, but apparently from what I've read, you can't get very far in it with any of the like dungeons that require skill. And even then it's like your rotation is auto battled, but I think you still control the movement. It's something odd, something interesting. But that's that's the current MMO that I'm trying out. We'll see how well it goes. I don't know. I hope it's going to be better than Throne and Liberty, because that was one that seemed really cool as well, that I couldn't get into. I tried. And it had like some cool concepts as well. My buddy's in the process of trying it out now. I told him about Pantheon, but I don't know, like so many MMOs that come out, just there's some sort of controversy with them, it seems like. Why can't we just get a better version of, why can't we get Final Fantasy 14 and Final Fantasy 11 just mashed together? Paper play? Okay, it's probably not going to pick up great on this mic. Find paper. I was not prepared. Let's go for it. I don't know how long I'm going to be on there though, but I am trying it out. It's free, and it's just, you know, a lot of gacha menus. It's definitely the that came with the controller that I got. Okay. We will go ahead and read. Ooh-wee. Okay, you and me. One hand here. One hand here. And... What's up, Joey? Welcome in. I'll say, Naomi. Let's have this up together. 1, 2, 3. Come just in time, because we are about to start a story. It's my day's just starting. I was awake earlier at 5 a.m., which is normal. And saw a little tiny Easter stream and went back to bed. And just woke up like maybe an hour ago. I need to make more coffee. I had a cup this morning, but just crashed. It was nice. So this story, let's see how long it is. It seems to be a little lengthy, which is fine. But it's titled, I Work as a Lookout at a National Forest. Does anyone know what code black means? Peter, can you see anything up there? Harry, the oldest yet least mature for a stranger, sat over the two-way. High on my perch in Tower 3, I had a full 360-degree view of a national forest that stretched out to the horizon. This was a dumb joke he liked to ask me every time I drew the short straw for the position. Yeah, vision is clear, no smoke, no fires, no adverse weather conditions. Cool. Can you see me flipping the double bird to you? He said this so often that I mouthed the words as he spoke. Harry, the stress or radiation was fine in small doses. But God help you if you have a weekend shift with the man. That's a negative, I said. Now it's campsite duty. It's slow. There are 5 campers here and 2 of them are hosts. Filth Hat Jack is back to host in the Western Loop. I can't stand that dude. He's not bad, a little gruff, but once you break through, he's still a little gruff, I said, trying and failing to find something nice to say about Filth Hat Jack. Gruff like those goats from the fairy tale. Weren't they devils or sold to the devil or tricked the devil? I'm not up to date with my Billy Goat folklore. Well, that's why they put you up in the tower. Meanwhile, the rest of us grounders are thinking about playing a little poker later. Ground squirrels, or grounders, was the nickname Harry made up for anyone not working in a lookout tower during the shift. Never made sense to me. Squirrels can climb trees, which are nature's towers. But the name stuck. Tower dwellers were named after the high-flying sandhill cranes, which inevitably got shortened to Sandies. You all suck at poker, I said. You have to be able to bluff and lie to win. All the people on grounder duty are basically priests. Not me. I could spin yarns like the best of them. Hey, kid nuts. Why don't you spin me a yarn about how you lost $100 last time we played? Guys, these two-way radios are for emergencies, Gwen said, her voice sounding more exasperated than usual. She was another Sandy set up in Tower 5, about 20 miles northwest of me. She had gifted kid vibes, which made sense as she had been one and was easily annoyed with the rest of us, but everyone loved her. And deep down, she loved us too. But really deep down. Call the Jurassic Park owner, we found insects in amber. Deep. Gwenny, Harry said, dragging out her name. You promised not to play school mom today. George is gone for the week. Let's enjoy a boss-free day. Gwen sighed. 1, I never promised anything. 2, you know I hate Gwenny. And 3, it was a troll and the 3 Billy Goats Gruff legend, she said before adding, oh, and 4, You are the absolute worst poker player in camp, Peter. Boom, said Harry. I could see him doing his bullhorn hand charging you move, but I knew he was doing it. This man was in his 50s. He had kids in college. Everyone knows, bud. Yeah, Gwen is right. These two ways are for official business only. Sandy 3. Out. Oh, excuse me, I'm gonna be real quick and cough. Have fun with Filth Hath Jack, Gwen said. Sandy 5. Out. I'll pray no sudden thunderstorms come rolling in, said Harry with a laugh. Grounder 1, over and out, baby. Suck my butt. Again, this man has a mortgage. When I got tower duty, I always bring a book or two. When you're up in the gentle rocking and quiet of the air, you can get a lot of reading done. I'm currently going through a series of horror movie tie-in novelizations. I just finished Alien and The Fog and was looking forward to The Blob. I wanted to do a run of 40s pulp detective novels next. No, I don't have a girlfriend. Why do you ask? Anyway, after about an hour, my two-way came to life. Sandy 3, this is Sandy 5, do you copy? Gwen was always so formal. Sandy 3 to Sandy 5, I copy. Hey, Pete, you get any emergency calls in the last 10 minutes or so? Negative. What's up? The cabin's two-way started squawking a bit ago. At first it was just static, but then, well, it kind of sounded musical. Musical? How so? It sounded like a kid's piano playing Mary Had a Little Lamb, I think. It repeated a few times before going silent. Maybe radio signals bleeding through. I thought that at first too, but I haven't heard anything since. Maybe you have a fan out there that really wanted you to hear the re-edition of a childhood favorite. If anyone knows I'm up here, I'm already in trouble. No one is scheduled to come out this way today. I wouldn't go speaking out into the wider world, Gwen. I'm not alone. Pearl is here with me. We're attached at the hip, you know. Pearl was what she called her pistol. All of us carried something when we went out into the wild. In my civilian life, I'm not much of a gun guy. Out here, though, I understand what is an important tool in my tool bag. Don't want to be cornered by a wildcat and not have something to scare it away. Pearl is a straight shooter, after all. The best. Let me know if you hear anything, huh? My intuition is pecking at me. Roger, if it comes back, try to record some of it with your phone. That's a smart idea. Sometimes we non-gifted Sandys stumble into one. I regret telling you that all the flippin' time, Pete. Sandy 5, out. Sandy 3, over and out. I hung up the microphone and walked over to the north-facing window. If the weather was clear, I can sometimes make out Tower 5 from here. It takes a minute to spot, but I always can because, as the old saying goes, there are no straight lines in nature. Well, not technically true. It's mostly true and a useful guide for spotters. The difference between Mother Nature and her wayward child, mankind. I scan the horizon for anything out of the ordinary, but everything looks serene. This view never changes, but it also never disappoints. The number of hours I've sat on the catwalk just staring out at the natural world would astound you. To work as a ranger, you need to not just have a healthy fear and appreciation for the wild, but genuinely love it. I've heard electronic squelches behind me and turned to see some of the lights on in the cabin's two-way lighting up. I walked back over, picked up the handle and spoke. Sandy 3, come back. Static broke through the speakers, but that was it. No words, no childhood songs. Nothing but grating static. I waited a little bit to see if anyone would respond, but after 2 minutes of staring at the speaker, I determined it was nothing. I kicked back in my chair and dove back into my paperback. 2 pages later, Gwen came back. It's Sandy 3, this is Sandy 5. I groaned as I sat back up and grabbed the microphone. Go for it, Sandy 3. Peter, do you see something in the sky? North, northwest? Trailing the long, coiled cord behind me, I walked to the window and looked in the direction she told me. I held my hand over my eyes to shield any glare, but still didn't see anything. I pressed the button. Negative. Can't see anything. What is it? I don't know. I was knitting and I heard something whoosh over the tower. Sometimes small planes zip closer than they should, but when I looked out, I didn't see anything. At first. Then about 10 or so miles out, the sun reflected off of something silver in the sky. Chopper. Sometimes the fire guys do test runs on clear days. Nothing on the schedule. I tried raising them on the radio, but no one responded. That wasn't ideal. You want the fire brigade to answer a call. That goes double if you're surrounded by living firewood. A spark could start an inferno that could eat through the entire forest at a speed that would make your head spin. Want me to try and hail them? Yeah, she said. Her usually firm voice wavered a little. Pete, this thing is just hovering in the sky. Sometimes they'll do a training run without informing us. It's rare, but it happens. That has to be it. Has to be. Has to be, she echoed. Give me a second. Let me switch frequencies and call. I'll come right back. Sandy 5 out. I gave this guy another glance, but didn't see anything hovering. I knew Gwen. She was as straight a shooter as Pearl. She said she saw something. She saw it. I flipped over to the fire emergency frequency and depressed the button. This is a National Forest, Lookout Tower 5. Does anyone copy? Silence. I tried again. And again. Nothing. I flipped to a few more frequencies that didn't get a reply. It was like they were ignoring us. I switched back to Gwen and filled her in. She wasn't happy. What the hell? What's going on? What if there was a fire? Is the thing still in the sky? Yeah, not moving. Feels like I'm being watched. What's the bearing on your Osborne? The Osborne is a fire detecting tool equipped with every cabin. It's used to determine a location relative to the tower. It swivels 360 degrees and has an accurate topographical map at its center. When you sight smoke, you line up the crosshairs and find the degrees along the side. It's anchored enough with one tower, but more so if other towers can center in and cross-reference each other. 329 degrees in 48 minutes, Gwen said. Let me know what you see. I moved the Osborne to the bearing and took a gander through the crosshairs. My eyes are trained to follow along the ridges, so it took a second for me to adjust it to the sky. At first, I didn't see anything with my naked eye. Then I did notice the sun glint off something. Oh, Gwen, I see it barely, but there's something there. So I'm not crazy. Well, that remains to be seen, but with this, you're good. I don't like that I can't get through fire and rescue. This never happened before. Try yourself. Maybe you can reach him that way. I tried. No signal. I usually have a few bars out here, but not now. Always when you need it the most, right? No kit. Oh, Pete, this thing is dropping. Falling or landing. Both? It's a quick, controlled descent. You see it? I didn't. I had barely seen it in the air. If it was quickly falling out of the sky, I had no chance of seeing a thing. Negative. It just dipped behind the tree line. I'm filling out a smoke report. I don't know what else to do except for follow product protocol. Let me try giving them a call on my phone. I had signal earlier. Hold on. I pulled out my phone, ready to dial, but noticed I didn't have any service. It wasn't even roaming, just blank, like cell towers had been erased. I tried restarting my phone, but it didn't change anything. I don't have service either, I said into the two-way. Any changes over there? I heard Gwen hit the button to speak, but she didn't say a word. Instead, I listened to her handheld two-way radio click several times, and sure enough, the beginning of Mary Had a Little Lamb started playing. Finally, she whispered, "Are you hearing this?" "I am." The song suddenly stopped, and a calm, almost robotic voice started to speak. Gwen and I stayed quiet as churchgoers as the voice said, 777 Alpha Omega 6. Unknown, unknown, unknown. Repeat, 777 Alpha Omega 6. Unknown, unknown, unknown. The voice stopped and my heart did as well. Seconds later, the tinny version of Mary Had a Little Lamb started playing again. "What is that?" "Who's sending that out?" "It sounds like a code, like from a number station." "Number stations as in secret messages to spies? Number stations?" "Spies or government officials, maybe? I'm just guessing. It could be someone's idea of a weird prank. Maybe it's the fire and rescue teams just messing with us." "I dated a guy in fire and rescue," Gwen said. "They don't have an ounce of sense of humor shared among them. I think this is legit, and I think it's bad. It sounds like a warning, and I don't think it's a coincidence it came after this thing showed up and landed." "Gwen, we don't know what's going on. I think writing the report is a good idea. Want me to relay a message to the campsites? Get another ranger out there? Maybe you'll get lucky and Harry will get dispatched," I said, trying to lower the tension. Gwen may have sounded calm to the untrained ear, but I knew she was scared. Or, at the very least, unnerved. I was as well, but I didn't want to share that. She laughed, but it sounded like it was Texas two-stepping with crying. "Do you know he told me the other day that he thought if given 6 months of training, he could make the pro bowler tour with nothing but alley balls. Maybe we should encourage it and give our ears a break." "Actually," he said, "I could throw cheese like a pissed off Wisconsinite, Gwenny," she said, imitating his voice. "That man has kids in college, Gwen," I said. "That man watched 9/11 as it happened," she said. "Oh, that's a good one." "I'm taking offense to that. I am taking offense to that. I'm not even that old, man. Come on." Cheshire Bones, thank you very much for the hydrate. And what's up, Sonoma? And Belena. Let's get that water. How's your day, Sonoma? What you up to? Our conversation was cut short when we both heard a low rumble and felt a slow rolling earthquake shake our towers. I grabbed onto my table as the entire cabin rocked back and forth like a ship hit by a rogue wave. After what felt like 10 hours but was actually just 30 seconds, the shaking stopped. "Gwen, you okay?" "Jesus Christ, I think I heard something in the tower snap." "What?" "Don't know. I was worried this whole thing was going to fall over. Was that an earthquake?" "Yeah, it felt like it." "When the hell has there ever been an earthquake here?" As I made a mental note to look up if this area had ever had a recorded earthquake, I noticed the trees about a mile out violently snapped back and forth in a concentric circle, like someone had dropped a pebble in the water. The ring of shaking trees quickly spread out, and I felt the concussive wave before I heard it. It was okay, mostly spent working and battling with my Wi-Fi. F. Did you get any hunts in? Also, if you did, have you tried controller? What's up, beloved? Hope you're feeling better. Let's see. Again, the tower shuddered from the blast. The northern window shattered, and bits of glass came flying inward. I ducked out of the desk with the cabin two-way to avoid Swiss cheesing my body, but several of the shards caught my arm. I winced in pain as the glass bit into my flesh. Not wanting to bleed out, I ripped off the sleeve of my shirt and did my best to staunch the bleeding. No more aunts yet? Just finished making dinner? Ooh. What you got for dinner? I had like the last of chicken salad that Eggy had made, like just before stream. It wasn't enough to fill me, and so I don't know what we're having for dinner, but I am very much looking forward to it. I don't know. Oh, she does chicken cuts too. My God, she did a really good job with that, and I would love it. But also, I think I'll take care of dinner if she doesn't feel better. I think we're gonna try to get her a nap after work because she's been having a rough day with migraines and stuff. So, it seems like the thing to do. But yeah, I don't know what I can make. How long I'm gonna stream? Not too long. So, why? What you got? I made Japanese curry, nice, with some of the ingredients I brought home from Japan. Tasty. Sounds good. That's I've had a lot of curry, but that's one of the ones that I've had, and it was good. It was good. It's I've had a bite of not Thai curry. Well, I think I've had Thai curry as well. I like the chicken curry that this local place we have does. It's yummy. It's like the first time I had curry as well. Painipi. Welcome in. Yahoy. Been waiting for my beloved to show up for 20 minutes. I discovered you were streaming. Yeah, I woke up early and watched Isla and went to sleep and woke up when I messaged you initially. So definitely wanted to get a stream in. I gotta be better about it. So here we are, past our time, but still streaming. Once the blast passed, I shot up and turned to the southern window. You could physically see the concussive wave working its way through the trees towards the campsites. Gwen, you okay? No response. Gwen, please come back. Over. Nothing. Panic started to set in. If she were near the epicenter of that blast, there was a good chance her tower could have collapsed. She could be heard, or, well, I didn't want to think that. I tried a third time with no response. My personal two-way squawked. It was Harry calling. He sounded equally nervous and confused. Sandy 3, this is Grounder 1. What the hell was that? I don't know. Yahoy, welcome in. You safe? I think so, but I can't get a hold of Gwen. Ah, do you see anything, any smoke? She said something hovering in the sky that went down near her tower. We tried reaching out to fire and rescue, but they didn't respond. Something was hovering in the sky. Did I hear that right? Affirmative. I went down or landed. We also heard a nod. The cabin's two-way started to chirp. I turned up the speaker and heard clicking and growling. At first, it sounded random, but I realized multiple things were clicking and growling. It was as if they were communicating with each other. There was a loud, high-pitched electronic squeal that made me slam my hands over my ears. It went on for 10 seconds, and I heard the rest of the glass in the cabin window crack but not fall. When it stopped, I uncovered my ears, but that still didn't chase away the cobwebs. It sounded like my head had been underwater. My ears were swimming. I shook my head and used my thumbs to pump at the opening in my ear to help pop them. Yeah, don't worry about it. You can keep that to yourself. It's why am I? Hello. I'm gonna play any games with your viewers. I play games with Ko-Fi subscribers in the Discord. I heard Harry yelling into my personal two-way. He was jabbering, and I had a hard time making it out what he was saying. I took a second, centered myself, and listened. Jesus, Peter. Can you hear me? Copy. Christ on the bike, what took you so long to respond? I heard something on the cabin two-way. Sounded like someone clicking, or what I imagine crickets would sound like if they could talk. Cricket's talking. Son, did you hit your head? The cabin's two-way speaker came back to life. More clicking, but this was deliberate, as if signaling to someone. It sounded familiar, and I had no idea how that was even possible. At first, I couldn't make out what it was, but then it dawned on me. It was parroting back, "Mary had a little lamb." "The hell?" I said, staring at the speaker. I glared at the little box, wishing it could transform into a TV screen and show me that it was making the noise. That's when I saw the object rise above the tree line and climb up into the blue sky. It waited a beat and then zipped towards me. "Oh no," I said, diving under the desk. At speeds I didn't think possible, the craft whooshed over the tower, making it rattle on the foundations. Harry was going nuts over my two-way, rambling about something, but I didn't pay it any attention. Instead, I ran out to my catwalk to see where this craft had gone to, if that was even still possible. As fast as it was traveling, it might be halfway around the world by now. As soon as I pushed open the door to the catwalk, the air around me felt heavy. It even made my movements slow, like astronauts walking on the moon. I wondered if hopping would make me move quicker. I glanced up, but everything in my vision was wavy, like when you see gas fumes in the daylight. There was nothing above me that I could see, but I knew it was there. That meant it would have to stop on a dime to be here. Nothing I knew could do that. From inside the cabin, the speaker started bleeding out feedback. At first, it was just noise, but it morphed into something I'd been hearing all day. Mary had a little lamb. It made me realize that it was mirroring the message I must have heard at the same time that Gwen had. In an instant, the song stopped, and the air around me returned to normal. Whatever had been lingering around was gone. Harry was calling out from my personal two-way. I ran back inside and picked it up. "Peter, do you copy?" "Copy," I said. "Jesus, what's happening out there?" Before I could answer, my eyes flickered towards the north window, and I saw a thin ribbon of smoke on the horizon. It looked dangerously close to Gwen's tower. I felt my heart start to race. "Harry, there's smoke near Tower 5. I can't race Gwen or fire and rescue." "Okay, say no more. I'll grab the UTV and head out. You have a bearing on the Osborne for me." I glanced up to where I'd seen the curl of smoke, but the entire area of smoke had been replaced the ribbon. Or, honestly, more like a thick pea soup fog that had stretched out for about a mile was still going. No fire spreads that quickly. It reminded me of those snake fireworks that always underwhelmed you as a kid. You make a light, small black circle, and as it ignites, it expands. At best, it coiled until it became a puff of nothing and blew away in the breeze. At worst, it stopped coiling after about 10 seconds and left a burn mark on your driveway. I had no idea what was going on here. Jesus, Harry. Oh, wait. Jesus, Harry, I don't know what this is, but I'm not sure it's a fire. Where is it? Across the horizon, I said, and growing. What? The cabin's two-way came to life. Through the speaker, we heard a pre-recorded message from the Secretary of Agriculture, the person who oversees all the national forests. In a calm, measured tone, they said, "Rangers, this is a code black warning. Please remain in place and do not interfere with any military officials who may arrive on the scene. If there are civilians present, please inform them that they are to remain in place and cannot leave. Anyone found fleeing this location will be considered hostile and subject to severe punishments. Repeat, this is a code black warning. Stay in place and do not interfere with any military officials. Thank you for your cooperation." It came and went like a mid-afternoon storm. I wasn't sure what the smoke of the fog was, but I was certain that it wasn't just a quick spreading forest fire. This was something different. Gas attack? Small-scale nuclear device, dimensional rift. My mind was racing. Harry, who the fuck is a code black? I have no idea. Why would they send out the military? Whatever the reason, it ain't good. Kid, I gotta go out to Gwen. If she's at the epicenter of this, who knows if she's still... He didn't finish, but we both knew what he meant. I thought nothing, but since she stopped responding. Yeah, go. Be safe, Harry. You know me. Safety's my middle name. That and Big Dong, he said, trying to add levity to a tense situation. I gave Harry shit, but that was his true value. He cared about our well-being, and I appreciated that attempt, but we were both too scattered to laugh. Grounder 1, out. I walked back to the catwalk and stared out at the approaching fog. It was so thick that as it slowly advanced, the trees would disappear from view. I thought about Gwen, and my guts twisted into pretzels. I had been concerned that the tower collapsed earlier, but now, that seemed quaint. Was she still alive? Had whatever the code black warning entailed harmed her? The pace at which the fog was approaching was increasing. I had reluctantly have answers to those questions before too long. I swallowed hard and ran my hands through my sweaty hair. I wanted to do something to help, but I had no idea what I could even do. Would the military arrive soon? Would I be pressed into service? The cabin's two-way started squawking again, then I heard a familiar voice whisper through the speaker. Sandy 3? This is Sandy 5? You copy? Gwen. I ran back inside and nearly ripped the two-way off the wall by yanking on the microphone. Gwen, are you okay? What's going on? Peter, can't say much. They may hear me. Who? The creatures in the fog. I fell back down on the ground. I had a hard time breathing. The what? There are dozens of them. They're multiplying. What are they? Shh. Don't speak, she whispered. I hear some in the base of the tower. I held my breath, praying that she had closed and locked the access to the catwalk. If they went up into the tower, and Gwen had nowhere to go. My heart raced and I felt like I might pass out. I drummed on the floor, praying I'd hear Gwen's voice again. They haven't figured out where I am yet, she whispered. So far, they've stayed out of the tower. I wanted to respond, but I knew my voice coming out of her speaker would be a beacon that led to her, so I stayed quiet. She had kept her finger depressed on the microphone button, and I could hear everything going on in the cabin. I wasn't sure if she had accidentally held it down or if she wanted to leave a record of what happened to her. I heard Gwen's heavy breathing and the occasional rustling of her clothes. I mentioned she was tucked under a desk, the long cord trailing from the wall. Sweat beaded my forehead and poured down my face. Seconds later, I heard something that chilled me. It was the clicking and growling noises that I had heard earlier. There were dozens of different ones in the distance. These things had sounded the tower. Jesus, I think I hear one on the stairs. Lock the catwalk door, Gwen. Please tell me you locked the catwalk door, I said to myself. As long as she had the microphone in her death grip, none of my messages would reach her. She was smart, and I was hoping that she did the smart thing. Peter, I don't know what's about to happen, but thank you for always being nice to me. Tell Harry the same. Dumb jokes and all, but between you and me, the man has personal knowledge of the country's mood during the 2008 housing crisis. Tears swarmed at the corners of my eyes, but I smiled. Good one, Gwen. I'm not saying this is goodbye. I still have Pearl with me, but just in case. Jesus, there are more of them on the stairs now. she said, her voice lowering to the point where it was barely audible. I'm scared, Peter. I don't think these things are from... The radio got off. No noise. No static. No connection with a two-way. I pressed the button and whispered, Gwen, can you hear me? Silence. The cabin's two-way shorted out and died. I ran to my personal two-way, but I knew that it didn't have the range with it. She was alone. Cut off from all humanity. I bolted and ran up the catwalk. The curtain of fog was inching closer. Thought about Harry, driving like a madman towards it with reckless abandon. He needed to turn back, but there was no way to reach him now. My heart ached. That man had a family. With nothing to do but prepare for the approaching wave, I locked the catwalk and moved the sparse furniture towards the open windows. Not to stop them from coming, but to slow them down in the hopes that the military might have a plan. I pulled out my handgun, loaded it, and watched the fog roll towards me. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if any of us will get out of this alive. I don't know if this thing can even be stopped. I turned to the southern approach, miles from the darkening fog, and admired the landscape. It's really pretty up here. Nice. It's pretty cool. That was a pretty cool story. I think it was a nice first one. We'll read the second one here. It's fairly short, and the other one I picked out is also fairly short. So we'll do these two, and then we'll wrap up. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Alright. We are back. Yippee. This one is titled, Someone's Been Commenting on My Old Blog Posts from 2009. Ho ho ho. I'm never the one that messages to catch any attention online. Alongside with other social media platforms that can shyly offer me my daily life to the world, I started my own blog post as well, only to ditch it after a passionate 4 months of posting. My younger self couldn't bear the lack of likes, comments, and visitors, but eventually gave up. It's been 16 years ever since my fascination ended, and my habit of checking inboxes was long gone. Thank you, so. I'd even forgotten about the blog in question, just like my other childhood endeavors. So when I got an email informing me that I got a comment, I was rather intrigued. The comment was private, unlike the other comments I sometimes got. Under the stupid thread of the comment of me and my friend arguing, it stuck out by its simpleness. Love the jam? Keep going? My hand stilled on the mouse. At first I almost smiled. It was clearly posted by someone who, sort of a wonky with the whole comments thing, reminded me of my younger self. Even though it was just another encouraging phrase you sometimes wrote without thinking, This person couldn't really have enjoyed my post of a homemade 2 yellow peach jam that was leaking from the top. This random comment could have remained as interesting if it had stopped there. Soon I got 2, maybe 3 email notifications every day. They always directed a blog page, always a comment, always the same person. The post of my marble collection, which I had no comments before, now proudly had 1. Rubble Man. And the post of me whining about not having enough allowance to buy sweets had a comment too. Christine's candy is good. You'll like it, Allie, to the left. I was confused. Finding my blog should have been hard enough. It didn't have any useful information or general purpose. And even if the person happened to come across it by obsessively scrolling through the platform, why do they leave a comment so regularly? And why always private? Was this all just a joke? So far, my blog visitor count was always 1. And I started dreading the attention. Even though the comments were mostly harmless, even though they couldn't harm me through the screen, but it didn't stop. I didn't bother pinpointing exactly when this person wrote the comments. It seemed random. It seemed more clear that I catch this person in action. I mentally calculated. I had 52 posts. The person will have nothing to comment on after 26 days or so, and then, at last, I would be allowed to push away that piece of memory once more. I just had to wait. I decided to check the comments when this ordeal ended. Checking them every day and seemed to be taking a toll on my already fragile mind. And work itself was intense recently. I blocked the email notification, logged out of the blog site, and tried hard not to think about the stranger. It worked. Almost. After about a month, I settled down in my room to finally check the comments once and for all. My expectations were not failed. There was fresh comments on every post. Feeling my pulse stutter against my throat, I clicked on the first post that I stopped reading. It was a simple picture of me, dressed up, standing in front of the merry-go-round with the typical annoyed look that a child gives when they're forced to pose. The picture was blurry from the neon lights, and people passing by looked like giant black shadows. Teddy wants you are Shilda? Shalda? I don't know what the hell that means. Heart. I had to read it twice before reading it again. It didn't make any sense. Who was Teddy? And what did the word Chalda even mean? Then I saw the picture again. The little me was clutching a furry brown lump. I remember having a teddy bear. Did Teddy mean a teddy bear? Maybe. It seemed reasonable. But it was a strange thing to comment on since you can't even tell that I was clutching in the picture. Unless you know. What's up, me? And welcome in, both of you. Yahoy. How you doing today, Ami? And we have the daily coffee. Some water for now, but I might make coffee later. I don't know. I feel like it's starting to get too late. But let's have that sip. 1, 2, 3. The other few comments were the same. Unreasonable sentences over and over again. I slowly grew irritated. This had to be a joke. A very obsessive, disturbing joke. I was planning to stop reading soon when I clicked on an unread post, and my heart nearly stopped at the sight. Barandy. How you doing, buddy? Let's have that sip together. 1, 2, 3. Appreciate you. I was planning on stopping reading soon when I clicked on an unread post, and my heart nearly stopped at the sight. It was a grainy picture of 4 children, all different heights, gangly and awkward. I was the kid on the very right, wearing a bandana while showing off my lopsided grin. A shadow fell on the pavement in front of the kids, presumably belonging to the one who took this picture. The shadow was short. He was short. It occurred to me now that he probably took an effort to properly angle the camera to capture the taller kids fully in the frame so their heads would fit in too. I was relieved that he was the one who took this picture, invisible in the picture except for the shadow. I did not want to see him again after everything. Water fast, I'm cold. The post title was Adventure. The older kids called it one, crossing the river behind the mill, looking for the abandoned boat someone swore they saw drifting there. I remember begging the older kids that I was old enough to go. Always admired them. Every summer, I was always at their heels. I remember him crying when I left them standing with the camera. He wasn't supposed to follow us. I'm cold. I couldn't even swallow as I scrolled down at last. The next post would be 2 months after this post, and the next post was a mess of typos. I had bragged about the treasure hunt we went on, alongside with folded papers and paper trinkets. In the last line, I had wrote, "We left early because it got dark." A new comment read, "Teddy, where are you?" I stared at it until the words bled into each other. Then I scrolled further. The next post was a picture of his shoe, abandoned, missing a pair. I had uploaded it for some reason years ago. Probably thought it looked artsy. One sneaker lying by the reeds. The thought made me sick. "Remember, Teddy, I saw him in the water. He said, 'Come play.'" The police said it was an accident. He slipped. No one blamed me, not out loud. I said it fast, over and over again. I was clutching a cold cocoa. You couldn't have known. It wasn't your fault. But I did know. I knew he had wanted to come. I knew he was following. I just didn't look back. The last one made my stomach twist. The post it appeared on was supposed to not be public. It was a draft saved back in 2009. I remember I'd never gotten around to finish it. I don't remember uploading it. There was no other text, no other photos I had taken. But I took that photo recently. 9 years ago. Last week, actually, down by the river. And the river looked the same. Except that there was something in the background now. Something pale against the reeds, like a face half reflected on the current. "Don't close it." I got another comment while I was still staring. "Found Teddy." I reached down and yanked the plug out. The screen instantly went dark. But the email notification sound came again, louder than ever. Once, twice, then over and over, until it became a single tone. I grabbed my phone. The motion seemed to slow, as if I was dreaming. My fingers eventually stilled on the link that led to the post. I clicked. The newest comment was already waiting. "Turn around." That was just word vomit. I didn't care much for it. The first one was cool. That one not so much. But we are at our last story. It is titled, "When I Was 7 years old, my neighbor would sneak in through my closet." I don't remember when it started. I was too young. It's the equivalent. Yes, jump scare in text form. Yeah, but no, God, not well executed. Come on. Johnny, one of my neighbors, used to sneak in through the crawl space at the back of my closet to play. Even now, I can still picture him so clearly in my head. Sharp blue eyes, embedded in sunken sockets, his filthy unwashed hands, fingernails overgrown and caked in dirt, his crooked smile with 3 front teeth missing. I could smell him too. The musk of sweat and grime, the sickly sweet stench of someone who's been rolling in grass and dead leaves. He seems like such a recent memory, even now, 19 years later. As much as I want to, I can't forget him. Not after all that happened in the summer of '06. Knock, knock, knock. 3 knocks from inside my closet. That was the sign that Johnny was there. I opened the door, greeted by my friend, his toothy smile on full display. I returned the gesture, inviting him into our room. Hurry up, I want to show you the new game I got. Pokemon Emerald had just come out a year prior, and I had just managed to scrounge up enough money to buy it. I took Johnny by the wrist, his lanky frame bending awkwardly to accommodate. He didn't protest, but he listened intently as I explained the game mechanics, his eyes glued to the screen. That's one of the things I liked about Johnny. He was an adult, but he didn't treat me like all the other grown-ups did. He listened to what I had to say. Made me feel seen. Maybe that's why I didn't tell anyone sooner. After around 30 minutes, Johnny told me that he had something of his own that he wanted me to see. I perked up, temporarily distracted from my game. Found it in the park today, he said, extending a cheap camera for me to hold. I didn't want to put him down. I had a way nicer one than that, but he was obviously proud of it. Neat, I said, turning it over in my hands. Want to take a picture? Johnny nodded, a grin inching across his lips. I leaned in and he took a snapshot of us. We couldn't see what it looked like. He needed to get the film developed for that. Cool. I'll give you one when I get him back. We suddenly heard footsteps creaking down the hall. Johnny's eyes grew wide. We knew what that meant. He scrambled into my closet, shutting himself inside before my mother reached my room to tell me that dinner was ready. I didn't see Johnny very much after that. That wasn't too unusual, though. Sometimes he would go a week or so without coming to see me. I think about 10 days had passed before I heard the signal from my closet again. Knock, knock, knock. I eagerly leapt up and threw the door open. Johnny's familiar grin was there to greet me. He'd accompanied me to the rug where we usually sat, stationed in front of my tube TV. Come on, Johnny, you said you wanted to play Jenga with me last time. I got the block set up already, I said, tugging him to where the tower sat undisturbed from when I had built it days prior. Yeah, I remember. But first, I got something for you, he said, pulling a photograph from his pocket. I'd forgotten all about it. Here, this is for you. He handed it to me and I glanced down at our smiling faces. My eyes traveled from the photo to the corkboard on my wall. Johnny stood under understood the implication. Joey, you gotta keep this picture somewhere safe, okay? Somewhere your mom can't find it. We'll both get into big trouble if she sees. I nodded. We had been over this plenty of times before. Mom couldn't know about Johnny. Not ever. If she found out, he wouldn't be able to come over anymore. Attaboy, he said, ruffling my hair. Now, let's get to this Jenga game. Johnny started coming by more frequently after that. He began showing up almost nightly to the point where it was becoming routine. He would knock, I'd let him in, and we'd play with action figures or board games or draw pictures until Mom would come down the hall and scare him off. I didn't have many friends in school, so I really enjoyed our arrangement. That was until one night when Johnny came back. Different. A day went by without him popping in. Then 2, then 3. After I hadn't heard from him in 2 weeks, I was starting to get worried. What if something bad happened? As much as his absence shook me, I knew that there wasn't a thing I could do about it. I was just a kid. But to my relief, eventually, he did come back. Now I wished he never did. I was sitting on my bed, reading a comic book when I heard it. 3 knocks from inside my closet. These didn't sound like Johnny's regular knocks, though. They were quicker, more frantic. I didn't register the difference at first. I was just happy that Johnny had finally returned. I leapt off my bed and raced over to the door, throwing it open with a huge grin on my face. I expected to find Johnny standing there bearing that same toothy smile that he always did. But when I opened that door, I was met with a different sight. Johnny stood before me. He wasn't smiling. He looked even dirtier than he normally did. The coat he wore, pockmarked with holes, and his hands caked in a layer of grime. He had scabs on his face, as if he had been relentlessly picking at his flesh. His eyes darted around the room, shifting from one object to another. My heart dropped. I could tell something was wrong. Johnny, are you okay? I asked, a sudden feeling of unease coursing through me. Johnny's eyes snapped at me, his scleras marred by spider-webbing red veins. He grabbed my wrist and tried to usher me towards the closet. Joey, something I have to show you. Come with me. He pulled me hard, his dirty fingernails digging into my flesh. Little red droplets appeared, tumbling onto the floor. By that point, I was scared. This man was not the gentle, caring friend I knew. I screamed, both out of fear and pain. I could hear Mom's footsteps crashing down the hall in response. Normally, Johnny would have hidden at the sound, but not this time. He was determined to take me with him. Joey, you have to see this. I need you to see this. They're going to get me soon. Tears involuntarily welled to my eyes. I didn't know what Johnny had to show me, and I didn't want to know. Fortunately, I would never have to see what it was. Mom burst into the room in full mama bear mode. It took her a moment to register what was happening, but the second she did, she rushed over to us and began hitting Johnny as hard as she could. He eventually let go of me and fell onto the floor. Then Mom scooped me up and bolted down the hall to her room, where she locked the door and phoned the police. I didn't see Johnny being led out of the house in handcuffs. I'm glad I didn't. I think that image would have stuck with me for a long time. Mom had long since forgotten about the panel at the back of my closet, buried by old clothes and shoes. Inside was a small storage room. It turns out that there was never a crawl space that led outside. I had been lied to. But even more disturbing was what the police found in their search. Among a slew of wrappers and empty food containers, they discovered a sleeping bag, dozens of dirty needles and photographs. Hundreds of them. I was in every single one. Walking home from school, eating breakfast, playing with the neighborhood kids. I didn't know how he got some of them, and that still terrifies me. How many times had Johnny just been lurking out of sight? Additionally, they found a notebook. It only had one entry. The photograph that I had taken with Johnny was taped inside with the words, Johnny and Joey, best friends forever, written beneath. I don't know how many years he received. We moved shortly after he was apprehended, and Mom never did bring it up again. I don't blame her. I tried my best to forget. But even after all this time, I can't get it out of my head. Sometimes I glance down at the tiny scar on my wrist and wonder what would have happened if I had followed Johnny into that room. True horror. It's none of the supernatural stuff that we're used to. That's based in reality. Oof. Big oof. Welcome in Wanyonya. Unfortunately, you are joining us near the end. But we'll be back tomorrow. Today was a bit of a short stream. I want to thank you guys for showing up, for being here, for hanging out. And big F for the good boy here. We're ending for today, but yeah, sorry. Also, thank you guys for helping us meet the follower goal. It's very cool, very nice. Again, if you are in the Discord, we will be doing a hangout at 12 p.m. EST on this Saturday. I've still not made up my mind what we're going to do, but it's probably going to be watching old anime together, or playing Monster Hunter, or Repo or something. Well, figures, maybe. It might just be like whatever I feel like then if we don't establish something. But anyway, I look forward to seeing you guys there. And yeah, see you tomorrow. Take care.